Hey, good afternoon. This is Neil, Simpler Futures, and this is the end of week wrapping up the first week of November here, November 4th, Friday, non-farm payroll report this morning, Fed announcement on Wednesday earlier this week, and it's been quite the week. As you can see here, this is a look at the week. All right, so we started out up here 39, 11, 12 area. Stayed sideways in this area until Wednesday, got the FOMC rate announcement, and then the presser really was what did it. But anyway, and this is important because this is a price to remember, 38.55 area, 50, 50, whatever. This is where this was balanced last week, and this is where the price was when we got the rate announcement. All right, and so that's going to be target for next week, by the way. That'd be like first target on the way up. And you can see the price action here for the announcement, right? Initially up, then 1:30 rather, the press conference, it started to break pretty hard and continued to a point at which we've got the consolidation here at the lower end of the weekly range for the latter part of the week, Thursday and Friday today. All right. So what the takeaway here would be that weekly balance for this week was point of control was still way up here at 38.80, 38.80. The Fed was right about, just loosely call it 50. It was really 45, but anyway, loosely call it 38.50 on the report, which is where the weekly pivot was this week also. And those will be the bullish targets for next week. Okay. So now to a daily chart. Look at, on the way down here, we flagged sideways for this period of 916 by 920 or so. Broke, bid, back and forth, creating this balance that we've talked about. The sideways trade consolidation down here, period was 923 by like 1021. We profiled that. We talked about it earlier in the week. Balance for that is down here at 36.90. I really anticipated that we were going to see 36.90 this week, to be honest with you, and also that since that was the L2 quant level, that it was going to hold and bounce off of that, but it never quite got there. It got down to like 37.04 or something like that was the deepest it got. I still want to see this 36.90 trade. Of course, I cannot promise anybody watching this that it's going to trade and give us the opportunity to, observe price action and how it treats that very important price. I can tell you that my anticipation would be that it would dip down there and bounce off of it and bounce back up into these 38.50 and a little bit higher targets that I just gave you for bullish targets next week. So this, to me, it looks like what's the Fed, the FOMC, we broke. Now the deal now is to come back up and revisit and sync with those prices that were the prices prior to, the new information interrupting and sending us on this little venture lower. So those are my bullish targets for next week. But what I am saying too is ideally what I would really like, really, it would be to get the opportunity to buy first part of the week, buy a little bit cheaper down here at 36.90 and run those up to the 38.50s and, a little higher. So that's what I'm looking at for early part of next week. Definitely on a break, you're going to be looking for and anticipating seeing this thing trading about 36.90. Here, let me show you something too. Look at this. I'm going to bring another chart into view in just a sec. Look at how sideways here, 916, and then the break and all this sideways. It comes back up and touches off on those same prices back from September 16th, right in there, falls back into range. So what I did also, I did this. I created a profile from starting from there. It basically looks like this. Starting all of that, right? Here's what it looks like. You see up here, 916 by the date range that's up there up top in the upper left up there, 916 by 11.4. See, let me get it. Now I know it's in view now where you can see it. Date range right there, 916 by 11.4. So here's what it looks like. The most traded price in all of that, including today and everything that happened all the way up until the close today, is still down there at like 36.90, what, 5 or something. But, when we start back here on the 10, 10, we go, hang on. When we start here on this 923 by 1021, it's 36.90. And then when we start all the way back on September 16th through today, it's pretty much the same. I mean, a couple of points difference there, but still, that's the big price, right? It's still yet a little bit lower. So that's the reasoning behind my plan in any way, to try to see this thing down to that print, but then also to very much anticipate that we would get a bounce off of that back up into these, mid 38s, resync with the pricing prior to the FOMC, and then get to see what's what after that. And I don't know, seasonally, just remember too, that this time right now is actually seasonally, historically, it's a little bit bullish for the next little bit. We'll see. We've got elections coming up here, and a CPI report, and that's going to be some volatility, to definitely be really aware of. The best thing that honestly I think I could probably do for you right now is point out these prices that I'm showing you. The most traded price of this week, balance of this week, is 38.80s up there, and then of the entire profile that we just discussed is down here at like 36.90. So that, to really, all in all, what that means is 36.90 support, 38.80 overhead. That's what it really means. And then SPX for next week. Let's see, the end of the week next week is the 11th. So we got 120 some odd, almost maybe kind of sort of 130 points plus or minus. Well, that makes a case for plus or minus, doesn't it? Makes a case for the 38.80s and the 36.90s. Yeah. So those are your parameters for next week, I believe, honestly. Unless something really crazy happens that gets this thing outside of what the options chain has, priced in expected move for next week. But it's plus or minus, you just saw, and that's also making a case here on a volume analysis, volume profile there for the edges, both on top and bottom. Hope this helps. You guys get started off on a good start for the first of the week, and then I'll be back with you again Monday night for videos then. Take care.
Without simpler trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency.
It's one of the things that won me